See how Furious Gaming is going to adapt for this battleground.
All right, let's see. We are going to have the first ban coming up from Furious Gaming, and it's going to be on Johanna.
Johanna, obviously such a strong warrior. Taking Johanna out, not surprising there. She's always able to get in the front. Also, fights over the tribute are in these, it's obviously a forest, but it's shaped much more like very narrow little hallways. So Johanna obviously would condemn very strong there to bunch up and let everybody else deal damage.
Yeah, and I actually like this play a lot. So compLexity bans out Zeratul because that threat would be picked up by Furious Gaming, almost guaranteed, especially after that last game. And now Furious Gaming grabs Uther, largely considered to be the best support in the game ever since the change to cleanse. Divine Shield just gives whatever hero you want complete invulnerability and just free range on the battlefield. You can't stop him, you can't hurt him, he is unstoppable.
Yeah, we do see Uther swing the tide of a lot of battles with that Divine Shield. He puts out a lot of healing as well, and even has a little stun. I mean, this is a fantastic hero to pick up first.
And now over here for compLexity, we are having a Leoric pick. Leoric, one of the newer heroes in Heroes of the Storm, but absolutely one of the stronger heroes in Heroes of the Storm. The ability to ghost away, allows for escapes as well as really good engages. He's great for pushing into a lane, and obviously he can, vampire your health away from you, and that's something you got to factor as well. So Leoric, easily one of the best heroes.
And you were talking about those early fights over the tribute where sometimes you fall in battle and you resurrect back in your base. Leoric doesn't have to do that. He turns into a ghost and he respawns exactly where he was standing.
Yeah.
So early game tribute fights, he is so incredibly powerful.
And now that both of you guys were talking about those early fights over tributes, one of our great early damage dealers, Jaina, is picked up as well with Leoric. She has been a top-tier pick the entire day here at the Americas Championship.
And a pick response there from Furious Gaming is going to go ahead and beat Arthas. Arthas, he's a very strong warrior. I think you could probably rank Leoric above him, maybe Johanna above him as well, but he's very good. He's, with the freeze ability, able to slow down a lot of his opponents, able to root them many times.
Yeah, especially when you consider drawn-out fights. Army of the Dead gives him so much more sustainability. And if that's not what you want to go for, Summon Syndragosa is just great for pushing down lanes. And if level 10, you can get that snap-on aggression, push down a fort, get all that experience that can propel you forward ahead of your opponent. So it's really how they want to approach this battleground. But personally, I'm a big fan of Army of the Dead here on Cursed Hollow.
All right, well, with Arthas, they are going to grab one more pick before the next set of bans go up. And Nazeebo. Oh, I just love Nazeebo on this map.
Yeah, Nazeebo, fantastic. Very fragile, but can deal a lot of damage, whether it's the abilities or the heroics. Which heroic do you think we're going to see here, Jake?
The cool thing is they just buffed Ravenous Spirit back to its former glory, and it's become much more viable. And since there are no real stuns that threaten it at this point, I like Ravenous a lot. The positioning, you can hide behind a wall fighting over the tribute, and the Ravenous will just really force them back. But Gargantuan, you can't count it out ever. It's the AI will just wander him into battle, wailing away, doing massive damage to your opponents. And it's just such a very powerful heroic. It's different than Water Elemental in the sense that you can't control it, but it's still a big, formidable threat.
Yeah, I don't think you could ever count it out either. So let's see what the ban responses are. Okay, so we have Tyrande ban over here for compLexity, and that's going to be, it's not going to be up to Furious Gaming to pick that next ban.
Yeah.
What do you think, Artosis?
Well, it's hard to say exactly what they're going to get rid of. They could go for a healer that they might think their opponents have, since they already have Uther. They could go for a damage dealer as well if they think they're going to go for one of those. But it is actually going to be Abathur. And Jake, you were talking about how Abathur can be a great pick on this big map.
You throw him on a bruiser like Arthas, who can slow you down and root you with the Howling Blast, and it becomes quite scary. But Rexxar has been picked up.
We got Rexxar in this game, our newest hero. This is going to be a lot of fun for everybody, as we're all still learning this game. This game is still obviously pumping out more and more heroes. So Rexxar now here for compLexity. They're going to show us what he's all about.
Well, I'm very excited to see Misha go into battle here. I don't know why we call this hero Rexxar. It's Misha that's doing all the heavy lifting.
I love this pickup, though, because Rexxar is classified as a warrior, but he's a ranged warrior, so he's incredibly unique in that regard. And you put him with someone like Leoric in that big front line, and suddenly Misha plus Leoric, they're just ruining your life. They're stunning you, they're slowing you, and they're just applying a lot of damage and pressure. And then Rexxar has the slows, he has the lane clear, such a unique, powerful hero.
I'm very curious to see how Furious Gaming is going to respond here. But before I talk about that, we do have a Raynor pick here for compLexity.
Well, I gotta say, Trummel was just insane with Raynor last time. He was on point. fantastic micro, hitting those skill shots, and just dealing out massive amounts of damage. So I'm glad to see him on Raynor again.
Yeah, he's a really powerful hero, especially paired with Rexar. I mean, the control those two have together, the skill shots to knock people away. Rexar's quite squishy in himself, right? It's Misha that is the warrior, so a cool synergy will exist with those two, and I'm excited to see what they round out their roster with, but Furious Gaming, they've got 2 more picks.
All right, let's see what they're going to go for. What are you guessing here? Are we going to see some range damage? Could we see a second tank, a second warrior as well, since Arthas is the one they chose first?
Ooh, well,
Kael'thas.
Yeah, that's a strong pickup for sure. And at this point, I would like to see a warrior paired with this. You want a big front line to protect the potential of a Ravenous Spear and Kael'thas in the back. Double warrior paired with Uther, you have this rock-solid composition in the front, and they go for a new Barak. He has the dive, and he has the stuns and peel for these back assassins.
All right, great to see a Nubarak. Still one of the best warriors in the game, as you said, with that peel, with those stuns. Really can help to control a battle.
And we're still waiting for that final pick here from compLexity so that we know what the total makeup of all the heroes are going to be. And it's going to be a Malfurion pick.
Nice.
It's a great pick there.
Yeah.
Obviously a very solid support.
You talk about long drawn-out battles here on Cursed Hollow. Tranquility with double warrior is going to make it very difficult to eliminate this team. And then if Raynor does pit spec with Give Me More at level 1, he's going to have that big self-heal. So as soon as he gets low, he's going to have the big self-heal on himself. The Tranquility from Malfurion is just going to top him off even further. And the team is going to be very hard to even take out a single hero on that squad.
Artosis, do you think Furious Gaming has a better shot this time around?
Look, I mean, they have some really strong heroes. They have Uther, who is the absolute best support considered by almost every pro team. You know, they have a Nubarak and Arthas, 2 warriors that deal lots of damage, and we've seen already today the strength of Ravenous Spirit on Nazeebo. So if they can get that off for its full duration, you know, these team fights could go towards them.
With Howling Blast, Hammer of Justice, Zombie Wall, and Gravity Lapse, they have so much lockdown. I like their chances far more here on the second game.
Well, it would be fantastic if it was not a 2-0. I'm wondering, you know, with compLexity, the amount of experience they have, I'm wondering if they can be stopped. You guys having fun out there? This is very exciting, huge moment in esports history, and especially for Heroes of the Storm history. You know, this game, it's very young, especially as an esport, but it's also developing very quickly.
Yeah, I just want to say it's such an honor to be here on this stage. The crowd has been phenomenal this entire day, and being here casting with you guys, I used to nerd out about you guys watching StarCraft, so it's quite the honor.
Thanks, buddy. Well, it's really fun to be down here. You know, for those of you guys who don't know who we are, we're Tastosis, but we primarily have casted StarCraft in the past. But this is really fun to be down here with a new game and to be learning it and to be experiencing it with you guys.
That's right. It is a fantastic game. Definitely give it a try if you haven't yet. I'm sure we have a lot of people that just kind of wandered in to check it out, came with some friends or whatever. But Heroes of the Storm, it's a free game and a really fun game. One of my favorites.
And it looks like we're going to be going and starting our match. So I want you guys to make some noise for game number 2, Furious Gaming against compLexity.
All right, here we go, guys. On the left-hand side of the map, in the blue, it's Furious Gaming with Kobu on Uther, Anaxandros on a Nubarak, Nit on Kael'thas, Guelo on Nazeebo, and Bishop on Arthas. And their opponents on the right side of the map, in the red, it's compLexity with Jaximus on Rexar, Hans on Jaina, Caterpillar on Leoric, Trummel once again on Raynor, and Blinks on Malfurion. All right, looks like we have a little bit of a bush party here. Rexar and Jaina waiting, seeing if anyone wants to come by so that they can have a little dance with them. But we have all of Furious Gaming here in the center, so they're going to push that down very, very quickly. But they don't have anyone in the top or bottom lanes.
Yeah, and if they don't have anybody in the top or bottom lanes, they're not going to be getting as much experience, and that's pretty critical early on. Oh no, Nazeebo early on taking so much damage. Nazeebo narrowly escapes her with an absolutely beautiful zombie wall.
That's right. That was a fantastic donut around his chasers, keeping them in place. But he did miss some experience down there in that bottom lane, so that still worked out very well for compLexity.
You know, whether it's early game or late game, you always want to be very careful with Nazeebo. Oftentimes, if you're all in a big fight together, the opposing team will just focus in on Nazeebo because he is so squishy, he can die so fast.
That's right. Well, you know, Nazebo definitely will gain power throughout the game. A very strong character nowadays, but right now we do have a little fight. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Absolutely awesome by Bishop.
That is a record for me with how many rooted heroes I've seen with just one ability. That was incredible. Ford locked down there.
Well, right now we do have some rotations coming down from compLexity, going into this mid lane, clearing it up. In the meantime, nice dodge there by Nit on Kael'thas, getting away from that Drain Hope.
And for the time being, it's just going to be a race to get to level 10 with a few engagements in between. You can see level 2 to level 3. Pretty soon here, we are going to have the first tribute spawn. So you want to be very careful to make sure the whole team is alive, you know, in position and ready to rotate to that tribute if they decide it is a valuable move to do.
That's right. Well, right now we have compLexity once again coming up, trying to get Kael'thas, and he does go down, taking control of this top lane for the time being.
Looks like that tower just got controlled over there. Arthas actually great to solo on a lot of the mercenaries early on. Is going to go ahead and take down these two siege giants. And this is actually a great way to start out this game. But he's got to be careful because when you're that, you know, early on in level, you're going to be very, very low on HP.
That's right. He has to be careful about this. We do have Kael'thas coming up to help him, but you know what? Getting these siege giants early on can be fantastic. You know, you have them pushing a lane. When that first tribute pops up, and your opponents have a hard decision to make.
Now, one thing to note is because of tribute spawning at the top here, the siege giant push is not as strong as, let's say, if the tribute was spawning at the bottom, for instance, because then it'd be too many different places on the map to try to cover.
Well, right now we do have Furious Gaming coming down. compLexity waiting for them, blowing up Kael'thas in a matter of seconds. Looks like they're going to back up and try to go for this tribute, and I don't think Furious Gaming can stop them.
Yeah, I don't believe there's anything Furious Gaming can really do to contest that. I think it was smart that they did opt to back up. I think the lesser team would have dove in and then ended up losing everything. So even though Furious Gaming didn't get the tribute, I would say still nice job, the right play.
Indeed. Definitely smart. You got to be careful about which tributes you go after, like you were talking about before, Tasteless. A smart team will know which tributes to give up, which ones to fight over. But that was only the first. It's not the biggest deal. You need 3 to get the effects out of those tributes.
And now we have the Bruiser camp over here on the upper right being grabbed here by compLexity as they are now passing into level 7 right now. We will have another tribute spawning here shortly. Arthas, as I was saying earlier, he's just fantastic when it comes to taking out mercenary camps early on. You know, the ability to hit all the minions around him and, of course, just soak up a lot of damage too.
Well, right now, both teams going to have those bruisers hitting the center, so they're probably going to want to clear that up before the first tribute comes. But something important to mention, compLexity at level 7, so they have a slight lead still and 1 talent extra until Furious hits that next level.
All right, there is the tribute spawning here now. And it doesn't look, no, excuse me, they are, Furious Gaming is rotating up here and to try to get this. Let's see if they actually can get it. We have Nazebo up here, but obviously you can't dive in with Nazebo. And it looks like, you know what? Just in the nick of time, they're just going to get it.
Wow, great zoning right there, I definitely have to say. Misha taking a lot of damage, is going to retreat out of here, but that was really well done by compLexity, pushing Furious Gaming back and taking that second tribute.
Yeah, that was a moment where it's like, you know, you snooze, you lose. You got to be at the tribute over there. Even if you can't take it before your opponent, if you can at least hit them, it stops that whole process of acquiring it. They have to start from the very beginning.
Well, look at this. It looks like they may have caught Raynor here. Raynor trying to get out of trouble, running, but it looks like they do gank him, and down he goes.
Very nicely done there by Furious Gaming. They definitely needed something, and maybe that will be the play that'll help them get back onto their feet. However, compLexity has already taken another siege giant camp, and that's going to be pushing the southern lane.
And let's not forget, they're almost to level 10, whereas Furious is just almost to level 9. So if they do get that level 10 and the next tribute comes up, there's no way Furious can stop them from getting it.
Okay. Third tribute now spawning. Let's keep in mind, compLexity's already taken 2 tributes, and even more importantly is they're about to hit level 10. So if they get the 3rd tribute, and while being at level 10, I mean, there's just so little Furious Gaming can actually do to stop this. It's going to be huge.
I think that they're just going to have to eat this curse, Tasteless. They're going to have to let them get it and defend as best they can, try to keep all their forts up, but here we go. Furious Gaming has been cursed, and immediately compLexity goes for the throat.
And now they're going to be pushing in through the mid lane. This will be lasting for the next 60 seconds, and I don't believe there's any way they can keep this fort alive. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if with this level advantage, we might even see compLexity push into and take out a second fort.
That's right. This first fort looks like it will be falling down no matter what. They've already picked off a Nubarok. Down at the bottom, we see Trouble on his own as Raynor pushing this fort, dealing a lot of damage.
And you can see now Nazeebo going to go ahead and drive out Raynor. There will be a rotation over here into the top lane. Still about 25 seconds remaining. Oh, I love this. Are they going to actually go for the boss? They are. And this is smart as with only 20 seconds remaining, they can't do anywhere near as much damage. But taking out the boss while keeping Furious Gaming on the defense will just give compLexity a further advantage.
Oh, it's a great move with Trummel in the middle of the map, still poking, still prodding, keeping the enemy team on their back feet. This is fantastic. That is a nice, strong, early boss that's going to put a lot of pressure on that top lane.
And what's so great about this is now they can even go ahead and rotate down to the bottom. One thing to keep in mind is that occasionally, and it's definitely not always, but occasionally when one boss gets taken out because the other team has to defend from that boss, that gives the opportunity then for that team that owns the first boss to then go capture the second.
Well, speak of the devil, Tasteless, it looks like they're down here taking their opponent's boss while the Team Furious Gaming clearing the top boss. Some great rotations coming out of compLexity.
And that boss is going to be acquired. I got to say, Furious Gaming just in very bad shape this game. They are going to stop the boss, but at the same second that they take the boss out, another one is now going to be pushing into the southern lane.
Look at this. They even want to clear this fort out so the boss can go even further, and they will get that done in a matter of seconds, continuing to push through. So much pressure on Furious Gaming, who is now down 2 levels.
Right now, Furious Gaming just trying to get into a defensive position. That's the one small thing they do have going for them is the 2 Siege Giants pushing there at the top, although I think that's small potatoes compared to what compLexity has going down here at the bottom.
That's right. We do see Hyperion coming up, putting a lot of damage onto these buildings and heroes as well. They're going to be able to push down these gates so quickly, but we should see them rotating away now.
And as they rotate away, look at this. Some might say this is greedy, but I think they can probably pull it off. They're just going to nab the Bruiser camp right before Furious Gaming can get in there, and they get it just in time. Beautiful play.
Fantastically done there by Trummel, even using his skill shot there, pushing back the enemy team so they didn't have any chance to interrupt the capturing of this Bruiser camp. So compLexity, look at this. Once again, like in game 1, if you look at the mini-map in the bottom right, everything is turning red, slowly but surely.
Leoric going to go ahead and take out the Siege Giants over here. Meanwhile, the Bruiser camp to the bottom right of this is being captured. And look at that, just before the tribute actually spawns. I got a question if Furious Gaming should even try to get this tribute with the lead that compLexity has. But then again, as I say that, I mean, Furious Gaming has to do something to win because they have basically nothing going for them right now.
Yeah, they really don't. But you know what? They were at 0 of 3 tributes to get that curse, so I think it's smart. Give that up. They're coming down here trying to get some experience by killing off some of these buildings because they need to be at least on the same talent tier on 13 before they fight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Otherwise, it's just an uneven playing field there. Also, if you look at just the amount of blue that's on the mini-map, and that would be Furious Gaming's territory, this whole map is a big, dark, scary place. Right now, compLexity can continue to move through the forests, through the bushes, pretty much uncontested, and surprise Furious Gaming at any moment if they decide to.
Very true, and that's why Furious Gaming is staying back near their walls. They're just going to clean up all these mercenary camps that compLexity took and do their best to catch up on levels so that they can actually fight at some point here. But compLexity is just so on top of everything. Look at this, even getting the last mercenary camp that's up on their side of the map.
You know, this is a great game where you could see one team winning by simply accomplishing all the map objectives. Whenever they get to one objective, they immediately just run and take the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Speaking of objectives, a tribute is now spawning. This will be the 5th tribute in the game, and possibly the 5th tribute also acquired here by compLexity.
It does really look that way. Right now, Furious Gaming is out of position. They are 13 versus 15, so maybe they can get a fight done, but compLexity sneaking up on that very important level 16 for another Billy. It looks like we do have Syndrosa coming in, trying to delay this tribute.
As they're beginning to close in, we see the zombie wall be put down. We have Leoric over here in the front, soaking up so much damage, but it does look like he's going to be able to ghost around, just barely escaping. Furious Gaming, 4 heroes down, only a Nubaron, and I think they're going to be able to catch him too, at the same time collecting the second tribute. Furious Gaming just in a world of hurt.
That is 5 heroes down right there. That is a clean team wipe. So that means that compLexity gonna push forward, go through this middle gate. In the meantime, they do have mercenaries down in the bottom lane. They're gonna go for a keep.
Okay, now going and cracking open the center area. The keep will be going down, it does look like. We have respawns right now for Furious Gaming as they're scrambling to try to come over here and save whatever remains of their base, but unfortunately the keep will not be part of that story.
Oh man, that's 2 keeps falling. Just a single keep left over for Furious Gaming. They're down 4 levels as well. This is getting just out of hand.
Literally, this boss crawls out of the ground, and 2 seconds later, he's in fight. As they're going to go and try to take out the top boss. And remember, the timer is the same there for the bottom. So once they take out this top boss, there's going to be a spawn there for the bottom boss as well. So this could be 2 bosses and possibly a 3rd tribute captured here for Team compLexity.
Hey, yeah, why not? On your way to your 4th boss of the game, swing by and get your 2nd curse of the game. Seems pretty good for compLexity, doesn't it?
Yep, the curse is just now spawned, and the boss will be spawning at the bottom shortly thereafter. Meanwhile, I don't believe Furious Gaming can really get in here and try to contest this, but again, they don't really have many more options.
I guess they decided, hey, let's just fight right now. Some good moves going down. We have Kael'thas throwing his Phoenix in the middle there. A big swing there by Leoric. He does get lifted up by Kael'thas, but continuing to pummel him to the back line.
They're continuing to pursue forward. We do see Nazebo go down. Only 2 more heroes remaining. Leoric still in hot pursuit right now, as Kael'thas actually making a right-hand turn over here and actually going into the bush, just trying to buy time. This may be an all-kill right now, as there's 1 more hero remaining. In a lot of trouble is Uther. He is eliminated.
Oh, man. Now they're going to just go. This boss in the top lane, going to be able to take down the keep. They're going for their opponent's boss. There's still a tribute for a curse. Everything in the favor of compLexity. They may be able to finish the game momentarily.
And the boss does go down. And I mean, at this point in time, it's going to be a flood of every possible minion controlled here by compLexity. The curse has been activated. Furious Gaming could not be in a weaker position. It would take a miracle to recover and come back as the remaining 5 heroes here for compLexity begin to close in. There's just not much Furious Gaming can do.
Well, this should be the last battle of the game. We do have Divine Shield going down. Nubarak, he is diving in once again. Syndrosa goes out from Arthas. They put a lot of damage on Misha, but Misha's still alive. Misha finally does fall. In the meantime, we do have Quelo, and he falls as well.
And that's another mass takedown here as they focus down the core. That will be the end of this series. GG. Game